When George VI toured bomb-damaged Southampton in 1940, nobody could imagine that the town would or could recover. It is a narrative that does not sit well even today with local dignitaries as well as historians. There were 57 attacks on the city, and according to the Air Raid Precautions ARP department, approximately 470 tons of high explosives and 30,000 incendiary devices were dropped on the town, and the blaze could be seen from Cherbourg in France. The docks, which were closed for 2 years to non-essential traffic, were reopened in June 1942 with the arrival of the US Army 14th Major Port Transportation Corps. Southern England was to become an enormous military base, with troops even camped on the Common. Preparations for D-Day in the docks included unloading of invasion supplies, Mulberry Harbour construction, converting merchant ships to block ships, and making raft barges. The eastern docks were built for the coming of the railway in 1840. Their heyday was during the Industrial Revolution, when Queen Victoria came to open the Empress Dock, which at the time could accommodate the largest ships in the world. In the film, the River Itchen is on the left and the River Test on the right. We are looking down Southampton Water, and the Empress Dock is at the confluence of the two rivers, just below the container ship leaving port. Today the dock is the home of the National Oceanography Centre, and in the contemporary World War II film we can see how the quayside was utilised before D-Day. Not only did it provide shelter for landing craft, but for the Mulberry Harbour caissons, awaiting transportation to France. The film shows men of No. 4 Commando board either the infantry landing ship HMS Princess Astrid or HMS Maid of Orleans on June the 5th, docked in front of the warehouses used before the war for the banana trade by Hythes. The aim of No. 4 Commando was to destroy the battery and garrison in Ouistreham and then rejoin the brigade. Meanwhile, landing craft leave the dock to rendezvous with their own cargo of men or material. The entrance to the Empress Dock is on the River Itchen, and we can catch up with troops embarking on D-Day from the Hard S4 at Northam. In the film, there are US GIs, probably reinforcements for Omaha Beach on D-Day. The film shows these men doff their helmets to show their shaven heads in a mark of comradeship shared throughout the merchant fleet for the paratroopers who landed in Normandy before D-Day. We also see British troops use the same Hard at Northam. Detachments from the 86th Field Regiment Royal Artillery, No. 9 Beach Group, the 5th East Yorkshire Regiment, and from the 50th Division Service Unit board another landing craft, LCT 735. As the landing craft draws away from the jetty, the location can be readily identifiable today with reference to the gasometers in the background as a district of Southampton close to the present-day soccer stadium. The LCT or landing craft tank passes the course of the floating bridge and under what will become the site of the Itchen Bridge. On the starboard side is Ocean Village and the entrance to the Empress Dock. As the craft approaches Southampton Water, a Sunderland flying boat passes overhead. Another embarkation point further along the coast was on the River Hamble at Warsash. Here the band of Kiefer's Free French soldiers embarked. Their contribution was significant to the Allied leaders to show that the aim of Operation Overlord was to liberate Europe. At 5 p.m. on June the 5th, 1944, the French commandos embarked on 2 LCI landing craft. They were to link up with the rest of the Armada with instructions to take the town of Hermanville-sur-le-Mer, opposite the place called La Brèche, on Sword Beach. American forces would assault 2 beaches codenamed Utah and Omaha. British forces would attack beaches codenamed Golden Sword, and a Canadian division would assault a beach named Juno. The vast majority of men from the 3rd Canadian Infantry Division who would go ashore at Juno Beach had no combat experience. Like Fred Moore, a lieutenant with New Brunswick's North Shore Regiment, they trained hard in Scotland and England for more than a year. We had no idea what we were getting into, said Moore, but we were ready for anything. We considered ourselves the best. They can be seen in the film leaving from the Hard outside the medieval wool house in Southampton, with a Geddes warehouse visible in the background. We are also extraordinarily lucky to have original colour film of Operation Neptune, probably taken by sailors of Her Majesty's Royal Canadian Navy on D-Day. We see the landing craft leave the River Test to join the armada of ships to meet at Piccadilly Circus, the rendezvous point for Normandy, off the Isle of Wight. The film shows a vast array of different craft as part of Operation Neptune crossing the English Channel. Overlord could not be launched from Portsmouth or Dover without discovery, because the enemy could see the build-up of ships. It was only by virtue of the bombing in 1940 that Southampton was hiding in plain sight, because the enemy believed their own propaganda and could not imagine that from the ashes of 1940 Southampton could rise up and become the springboard for the liberation of Europe.